Hi everybody, I'm back to read again and just going over the book series here really fast again in case you're joining us for the first time. I am T K Thompson and I write an epic fantasy adventure, have an epic fantasy adventure series. Hey, sorry, that was my dog. So if you are up for adventure, this is the first book you start with. So first this one, then this one, then this one, then this is the one we're reading right now, and then this one, and then this one, okay? These two go together. They're brand new right now, so go on Amazon and check them out. Anna My Warrior by T K Thompson, and the Book of Soliticus, which is a little thriller by T K Thompson, okay? Those are the specials. Well, they're all special, but they've had their day in the sun, and that one gets to be talked about more. Okay, we're on chapter 8. Let's see. Okay, so we learned in the last chapter, in chapter 7, we met the family, and we figure out what happened to Beldagar when he took the sorceress's deal. And I think we're all starting to develop understanding and feelings against the characters. So, in chapter 8 is called The Story and the Lie. My son is also here drinking milk, so I'm reading to him as well. Beldagar flew away, weighted with the anguish of what he had done. Lear would be lame from his rescue attempt, the sounds of his leg breaking and his hand repeated in his ears. How could I have done it, he thought, condemning himself. Their scared faces flashed in his guilty mind, and then Rose surfaced to the forefront. His strength left him. He slowly descended to the ground. His clawed foot reached down to break his landing, but it buckled under him. He crashed, harrowing through the earth. Defeated, he lay in a disheveled heap, puffing out dirt and pain through his nostrils. Every part of him sunk into despair. Beldagar, he recognized the sorceress's voice, but didn't bother to heed her. His chest cracked in two. He screamed as the agonizing process began, reducing and breaking his bones. Everything transformed back to normal. The searing pain lasted for only minutes, but felt like hours. His growls changed to human screams, and in the end, he curled up in the broken earth, naked, cold, and exhausted. The sorceress's feet stood before his vision. Her emerald velvet shoes were fuzzy to his eyes. A flash of images coursed through his mind, of his eyes glowing the same emerald green, but he was a baby wrapped in the sorceress's arms. It skipped through years of growing, and then he felt an ultimate heaviness. Depression sunk into his veins as the green glow encompassed him, blinding his mind and memories. He furrowed his forehead, trying to make sense of it all. Beldagar, her voice was forceful and cruel. He cocked his head up to see her just as she threw down a set of clothes. He dragged the articles from his face. Who are you? Have you not remembered yet? She asked, cold and malicious. I see you holding me as a baby. She lifted her eyebrows, unimpressed. I thought I had lost yesterday when you almost kissed her, she admitted. He squinted. You are my son, she said, flustered with anger. I put you on that doorstep. I have put you on thousands of doorsteps. The earth vibrated under his hands as she shouted. He sat up and quickly dressed. What? His breathing seethed out. I have been fighting for you to take my deal for centuries, she snapped. She spun and walked a few steps away before flipping back around. Who are you? His question was no longer cordial. He could sense the darkness in her. A shimmering of light cast over her face. Her skin flickered with illusion, less porcelain and pale. Dark veined shadows hollowed around her eyes. Versailles, The name rang in his head, signaling what she said was true. Why would you do this to me? His heart broke as he recognized her emotionless expression to be cold and uncaring. Why hadn't he seen? So you would finally follow the path that I intended for you. If it wasn't for that girl of yours. Her voice was venomous. The dark green glow encompassed her figure, leaving a thin black line around her. You did all of this to make me do what you wanted? Anger welled up in his voice. And what do you mean? I've been doing this for centuries. I cursed you. The ground shuddered. His eyebrows slanted together. This monster you made me is a curse? Yes, but that wasn't the first curse I put on you. A dark shadow covered the land. Beldagar looked up as it covered the sun. Long ago, your confounded rose deterred you from following through with the path I had for you. Foresees lifted her hand, and the empty vial appeared in it. Beldagar swallowed, remembering the taste. You don't know what it took for me to procure it from the seat of death. She closed her eyes in fatigue, and then glared at him with renewed hate. Rose made you weak and stupid, which is something I can tell has never worn off. Her loathing tone struck him to the very core. I cursed your life to reincarnate until you decided to follow me. I didn't know, however, that I would be caught up in the curse as well, and Rose too. I guess soulmates take their lot together. Every time you have died, Rose dies, not too far after. Each time you have been planted again within my womb, and I must birth you all over again and find a new home for you because you've proven time and time again to disobey sooner and sooner when living around me. Your memory comes back fast, a tricky web to untangle before you remember. But now I don't have to worry about that. You have made the deal and will do what I ask until I'm dead. He stared off into the distance, so his freedom and his mother's death were intertwined. And Rose? She flinched. Maybe Rose can live on now and have a good life. You both have been born and reborn so many times, and no matter where I place you in this world, your paths always cross. You unfailingly merge together, and this meeting point ignites your memories. Your lives end shortly after. Beldagar could not come up with words. He didn't even know if he should believe her. As he thought of Rose, he couldn't doubt the connection. What about the family? Her wicked eyes flickered to him, and then to the north. I knew you wouldn't be able to kill them, but at least you managed to lame one. Who are they? They are my business. I'm sure you'll figure out the details when your memory returns. Beldagar stared at his supposed mother, unable to believe her. He begged that it was all just a bad dream. What happens now? Foresees homed her cruel stare on him. Now Rose goes up the mountain. Her mouth quivered, satisfaction plain on her face. What could he have done to make her hate him so? Please, the words flowed out of his mouth. Please let me save her. I'll go with you. I'll do what you ask. Just let me save her. Foresees flinched. You will already come with me. You will do what I say. She lifted her hand, and a green light surrounded him, seizing every part of his body. He tried to fight back against it, but every limb and muscle was frozen. Even his breath was strained. You've made the deal. You are mine and will serve me, even if my power has to make you do it. Sooner or later, you'll fall in line and learn the easy way. You were meant to be my greatest weapon and became my greatest disappointment, but now you will obey. With the slightest twinge of her fingers, the sensation of 1,000 knives penetrated his skin. He yelled out, still frozen. Don't try to fight me, son. She scanned him closely. My power has been built since the beginning of time. There is no stopping it. She thrust her arm back and the nearby trees burst in half, shattering to the ground. She widened her mouth, revealing a black hole. A shrill sound echoed out, and the earth moaned, cracking beneath her power. More trees shattered. Her scream pierced his ears, making his head want to explode. He could feel fluid draining from his ears. Shadows flooded the area, and her appearance changed. The skin around her eyes veined with visible dark threads and glowed green. Her hair flailed through the air, spinning in a torrent. He felt stretched from limb to limb. Her voice vibrated through the air. "You will never leave again." He shuddered under her weight, clenching his eyes. He called on Rose's image. Something snapped free inside. His willpower expanded, pushing through the pain. The exertion of this fight shook his body. The storm ceased, dropping her hair against her back as she studied him. He stuttered, spitting out his words. "I will fight you every step of the way." His movement against her power was no more than quaking, but her eyes flinched darkly at him. With another wave of her hand, he fell full force to the ground. He landed face first, gasping for air. Sweat dripped off his head as the sweet feeling of release flooded him. Her eyes widened. "Fine. I'll give you until midnight tonight, but if you cross me, I'll kill her myself." His shoulders relaxed as the pressure seethed out of him. A natural hate built inside of him. He calmed his mind. "At least I can save her," he whispered to himself. "I wouldn't be too sure," Foresees said. "What?" He looked up confused. With a spark of dark fortune, she answered. "The dragon will awaken today." Okay, that was chapter 8. That was a really good chapter. I like that one. Okay, chapter 9, which I'm going to read tomorrow, is the plan. We definitely need a plan. So, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. Here, we reveal our nemesis in her. Yeah, my son's laughing at me because I can't say nemesis. In her true form. Very, very ghastly person. And it's good to see her because this is like the first time we really get to see her. Thank you everyone for following me along on these readings. I know I'm not perfect at it yet, but I try. And sometimes it's hard to get out there and reveal yourself more. So anyway, if you can, please go on and support the new books and leave reviews. That's one of the best ways that you can help the authors you like. It helps them be seen more by more readers and gets us some traction. Anyway, if you think of anyone who you think would also like this, please share it with them. And I hope you guys have a good day. Okay? Bye.